Okay, so with this lesson of antonyms, students are going to improve their standards of reading and writing. They're going to be able to improve word recognition, vocabulary development, and applying all of these words into their writing. Students will be able to understand and explain common synonyms and antonyms and use them in storytelling. They'll be able to develop a main idea and use details to support this main idea to create coherent sentences. After today's lesson about antonyms, their performance objective would be in a given list of 20 words, the student will be able to match up or figure out at least 8 to 10 antonym pairs correctly. The student will also be able to write descriptive sentences about real familiar things, and these sentences will be coherent. So first we're going to review yesterday. We're going to start off with a do now activity, which will be fun. Everybody's going to have an index card, and on each index card is going to be a word. The students will have 5 minutes to find their partner, and their partner is going to be the person that has a card that has a word that means the same thing. So both of their cards have to be synonyms. If my card says noisy, my partner's card is going to be the card that says loud. So they're going to have some time to find their partner, and then they can be partnered up with this person for the rest of the day, and it should be exciting. After the 5 minutes, we can go over how everybody did. The person who had tired should be matched up with sleepy, sweet and sugary, cold and chilly, pretty, beautiful, huge, large, rich, and wealthy. Then we can move on to antonyms for today. Everybody has a list of 20 words. They also have a word bank on the other side. So together we can match up the 20 words with their opposites or their antonyms. I'm going to start. I'll do a few on my own so they can watch. Then we'll do a few together, and then they can do a few on their own. So the first 3 words on the list are hot, old, and light. So I can see right away that in the word bank, the word cold is there. We'll talk about how that is the opposite of hot. Then we're looking for the opposite of old, which would be young, light, and then dark. So the rest of the words here are that they have in front of them, and we can go through them together. Tall, we would find short to match up as the opposite. Fast, slow. Happy, sad. Big, small. Rich, poor. And then hopefully they'll get the hang of it and they'll be able to do some on their own as well. And of course, to have these answers accessible with the PowerPoint, they can look right on here and see what they did wrong or what they got right, and we can go over it together. Then we can move on to review of sentence writing, that says, and we'll review how to make a really good sentence. First, you have to have a subject, so a person, place, or a thing that you're talking about. In this case, we're going to make sentences about ourselves. So in everybody's sentence, you're either going to have the word I, or you're going to have your own name. You're also going to have a verb in that sentence. And a verb is an action or something you're doing or being. Remember, if you're saying, I am tall, the word am is your action. That also counts as an action if you're being. And then to make our sentences really great, we're going to include a description of the thing or a description of how you are doing the action. So you're either going to describe yourselves even further, or you're going to describe how you're doing whatever you're doing. So if my sentence, for example, is I run very fast, the I is the subject, run is the verb, and then very fast is describing how I run. So everybody is going to write 2 sentences describing themselves. And to help them out, we can talk about how they can describe their personality. You can talk about how you're a bubbly person, or if you're a very shy person. You can also talk about your physical traits. You can talk about if you have brown hair or if you're tall. Or you can even talk about your feelings. You can say, today I'm very happy, or today I'm very sad. And my 2 sentences today, we have I am a smart and happy teacher. I am short with brown hair and brown eyes. So here I talked about my personality a little bit or my feelings here, and then I talked about my physical traits. So after everybody makes their sentences and we talk about their sentences, the next thing I want them to do is to draw a picture of the opposite of your sentence. So in my sentences, I am a smart and happy teacher. I am short with brown hair and brown eyes. We're going to find some opposites from that sentence. So the opposite of smart, we can use maybe silly or dumb. The opposite of happy, we can use sad. The opposite of teacher, we can use student. The opposite of short, we can use tall. Or even brown hair and brown eyes, we can say blonde hair or red hair, green eyes. So everybody's going to draw a picture describing the opposite of their sentence. So my picture is going to be a sad girl with blonde hair because in my sentence, I was a happy person with brown hair. So that would be the opposites that I chose to draw. So if somebody's going to draw themselves as maybe hot, or they can say they're hot and draw themselves as cold, or happy and then sad, or maybe they say they're a fast runner and then they can draw themselves slow, tall, or short. And of course, I can supply all these pictures for the class as well. If in the event that they are having a hard time drawing, they can just choose pictures and have a fun time that way. So after this lesson is complete, they can share their sentences and pictures with the person next to them, their partner that they had for the day. And hopefully by the end of this lesson, the students will know the difference between synonyms and antonyms, be able to identify them, comprehend them, and even create their own coherent sentences using antonyms to describe themselves or other things.